Hi guys. Um, Thank you for taking part in our wee watch party there. Um, it was great fun going through all those old video. They're not even that old actually. I have a tendency to do them whenever I'm waiting on a group, or sometimes when I'm with a group. I'll just quickly run out and take a wee quick live video just so you guys know what I'm up to. And I hope you like my jammies today. I am wearing my unicorn one again because yesterday, kind of totally forgot it was National Unicorn Day. So I thought I would wear this. But also, it is, ghost stories and stuff. So I thought I would get into my gym jams and wear it. And although you've seen these ones already, they're appropriate for all ages. So it's just a quick chat about what you just saw. I played you me meandering around Culloden Battlefield, and then again at um, the Drovers Inn, then back to Gillabreach at Culloden, and then hi Amanda, and then where do we go? Roslyn Chapel, and then to Nunton House, which is on the island of Benbecula. So that's all good fun. And the reason why I did that is because it kind of just opens up the stories about all these kind of different ghost stories. So if you heard um, quickly on the Culloden Walk, I mentioned about when I had a bit of a haunting kind of experience at Culloden. Hi, Ian. But, well, basically, I can probably show you that video another time. Nothing specific happened other than the battery on my phone went from 60% to nothing. Hi, happy to see you as well. So it was quite a weird experience. And when I came back to the battlefield, I was on my own. Nobody else was there. It was in kind of like dusk. It wasn't quite dark yet. And it was in October. And I was staying, or I was staying. I was staying in Inverness. I was staying about 2 minutes up the road at like a bed and breakfast, pretty much just off the battlefield, and it was a good experience actually. To be fair, to do that, and the guest that I had with me, a lady called Manya and Zona, and her pal Zona. Sadly, Manya's no longer with us. She passed away 2 years ago. Um, and what am I wearing? I'm wearing my unicorn. I'm a unicorn, Ian, if you can see it. I think it looks rather fetching. I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so sadly, Manya's no longer with us, but I had arranged for us to go to the Mustard Seed restaurant in Inverness for our dinner. So I dropped them off, and they were staying at, I could remember this. They were staying right next to the river at the Glenmorris. Is it the Glenmoriston? Yeah, the townhouse right next to the river. And I was staying, like I said, just away. So I dropped them off, drove back, and I thought, as I was driving back, I stopped off at the battlefield, and I thought, hey, I'm going to take a wee video. And there were still some dog walkers and things. And as I went, my battery went from 60% to nothing. So I went back to my bed and breakfast, and I started charging it. And then I thought, right, I'm not going to do another live video. I thought I'm going to just have to record it normally. So I did. But guys, when I went back, I was the only one there. I can honestly say that I have walked about the Culloden battlefield by myself with nobody. There wasn't a dog walker. There wasn't a jogger. There wasn't another guest or tourist walking about. There was just me on the battlefield. Let me just see what people are saying. Hi, Lynn. I love you. How's your dad, Miss? I took Lynn, her husband, and her dad on a wee trip, a wee private tour, and they ended up staying in the Trossachs, and they got a trampoline, and I was on the trampoline with your daddy, who was in his mid-80s. It was a hilarious trip. But anyway, the Culloden day was, I went back and I filmed, and I was talking the whole time so that I didn't have to hear anything. But there is a story about Culloden that every year. So the anniversary of Culloden is actually in 6 days from today. It took place on the 16th of April in 1746. Hi, Ohio. Hi, Renee. And so it was quite, at the same time of year. So I might do something else soon for that specific anniversary. But I was there by myself, and sorry, I am rambling a bit because I'm just reading. That's amazing, Lynn. Tell your dad I said hello, because he was a legend, an absolute legend. I think I actually was I not doing a film with you, Lynn? I think I was doing a film with Lynn when we were at Butte or Kilmartin Glen. I think I've got a film with you. But anyway, that's my wee story about Culloden. I go to Culloden a lot. It's part of our 3-day Outlander tour. So we tend to do that on a Friday. I was up there the end of February. I honestly, guys, I can't remember. My weeks are just going into one another, but it was one of the last tours I did. And I took Kimberly, who works with us, and also Paul Rasmussen, a good pal. And we went up to Culloden with our guest, Jess. So Jess, hello if you're watching. And we did the wee tour, and it was a good, very strange day, actually. It was every single season in one day. But yeah, we do Culloden a lot. So if you're with me, if you come on tour with me on Fridays, we do Culloden from Glasgow. Let's think. So then the next video I did was the Drovers Inn, which I mentioned. The ghosty, I think I've talked about that on our previous ghost story nights. It's quite haunted, definitely. I just thought I would show you a wee run through of it. And then there's also Roslyn Chapel. Roslyn Chapel down in the old part of the church, the vault section, the crypt section of the church. I don't like going down there at all because it's very spooky. I just don't. I just get this really bad energy. So I don't like to go down there myself, which is weird because when you go down to the castle, because a lot of guys don't, but when we do Roslyn, we always go down to the castle. And the castle is said to be haunted as well, but I just have a really happy feeling. It's actually one of my favourite castles. Then I showed you Gillibreach again, and the reason I kind of showed you that is because it came to me quite late and I found it, and that's quite an important song. Gillibreach sang that for us. Must have been 2 years ago now. I did on our special guest Outlander tour. Gilla met us up in Inverness with my group, and we did Culloden and everything on the way down. That was in the summer, though. That was in the summer months. That was in July of 2018. And it's just the song itself is about Culloden and putting a curse on Duke of Cumberland. So it's quite an important one. And then the last video was at Nunton House. And Nunton House is part of our Hebrides tour. So we go first to the island of Lewis normally, and we do all of that. Callanish, the big standing stones that you might all recognise from various different films. In fact, if you're an Outlander fan, they modelled Callanish. They kind of took an artist representation of Callanish, and then they drew it up on their wee art board, and then made replica life-size copies for the show. But they're all just polystyrene guys. I've seen them myself, just leaning up against the wall. It just took the magic away entirely. But the reason why I mention that is because we go there first and then we go down to the Uists. So we catch the ferry over to North Uist or Berneray, and then we go down and we stay over in Benbecula, which is a wee island in the middle of North and South Uist. They're all connected via causeways. And Benbecula, we stay at a place called Nunton House. And Nunton House is really important historically because that's where Bonnie Prince Charlie said he was the maid of when he was dressed as the Irish serving maid, Betty Burke. He said he was of Nunton House or worked at Nunton House. And that's because at Nunton House, they say that's where they planned his escape. So that fireplace you see Gilla Breacha singing next to, that's the original fireplace. From that time and that period. And it's now a youth hostel, but it's a 5-star youth hostel. So we all stay there, and it's just a chance for us all just to get to know one another a lot better. We all cook, like that night actually that you see Gilla Breacha singing, I made everybody dinner. Along with Jackie, one of our guests, she made like a vegetarian option. I think somebody else made something vegetarian, but I was drinking all the gin. I went to the nearby shop with Gilla Breacha in his mum's car in Agave, and we went and bought like all the groceries for that evening. And I think Agave being a vegetarian and some of our guests are vegetarian, they bought something completely separate, but I bought mince. And I bought a big bottle of Botanist, the gin that I keep drinking and telling you all about. And everybody had a wee swatch of that, finished it that night. But I made everybody mince and tatties. And then obviously the vegetarians had their own. But it was a really funny, interesting night filled with song. I mean, I brought my grandfather along with that trip, and he was singing and everybody was dancing, and it was just a really special evening. So if you come with us, expect the same. Expect a lot of singing, dancing. You don't have to be a drinker. I'm not usually a drinker. Funny enough, I've been drinking a gin every night since I've been doing this, but I'm not usually a drinker. But it's a really good trip. And you can join us. And we've got our new dates for that tour set in May 2021. So a lot of our guys already moved on to that day. So if you're interested in coming to the Scottish Outer Hebrides with me, it's a right hoot. So thank you everybody for joining in to a few ghost stories. It's a bit unconventional. As you can see, my breathing is a lot better today, but it's still a little tight. But I'm much better than what I was yesterday. Jackie, definitely we do. I'm just going to use this time just to quickly self promo. I know that's not what this is all about, but the concept of what we try to do as a tour company, and no disrespect to anybody else, because there's a place for everyone, but what we try to do is get under the skin of Scotland. I will not ever, 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 ever sell out my country for a profit. I try to give everybody the chance to see what it's really like and to show you things and try to give you that kind of it's very informal. I don't do the sitting in front of a bus with a microphone. I mean, I do, but usually I'm singing a song or something. But I don't like the kind of coach tour. It's not what I'm about or what any of us are about. Our concept is to hope that you feel like you have been part of something totally different. This isn't your typical holiday. We want you to feel like that's something you've never and will never ever do again. In particular to our special tours. So Sharon, you're asking if we have our 2021. We do, actually, we do. We haven't published it on the internet yet, just because of everything that's been going on. We just thought it's probably better just to kind of let things calm down, just so that we can see what's happening. But it's pretty much the same as what it was supposed to be this year. So I'll just give you a quick run through. We had a tour in May, a Hebrides tour in May, which is the same as usual. So it's exactly the same tour. We go usually from Suas Good Jais, which means from north to south, but sometimes we go from Suas Good Duas, which means from south to north. In Gaelic, and the whole point of that tour is we are joined in each place, particularly by a local person with the Gaelic on their lips. And I do those with a guy called Agav O'Brien, who is some of you might know him as the Gaelic consultant for Outlander. He comes with, and he knows a lot of these people, so he brings all these things. Hi, Hal, love you. So he does all these things with me, the special tours anyway. And when we're on Barra, so we typically go from the north to the south. So typically we go up to Stornoway by going via Ullapool. And then we catch the ferry over. It's about a 2.5 hour ferry journey over to Stornoway, which is the main town of, well, you could actually say of all the islands in Scotland, it's the biggest. And that's where we tend to stay. Next year, like May, we're staying at Lewis Castle again. And Lewis Castle is a 5-star property, but we do it as a self-catering option. What does that mean? It means that it's an opportunity for people to have access to things so they can cook for themselves. So there's microwaves, cookers, that kind of stuff there. And I just know it's a lot of money to get there, guys. I'm not going to beat around the bush. It's not it's not the cheapest tour out there, but we have done our very best to make it as value for money as possible. In ways that we do that is we try to make savings where we can, i.e. where we stay. So that's a very kind of high-end place that we stay. But you can cook your own food, so it saves you spending. Because I know, like, when I'm on holiday, and especially as a tour guide, I get bored of eating out. So becomes such an issue, actually, because you're spending £10 to £20 for every meal that you're eating in a day, and you're not even enjoying it after. You're like, oh, another burger, another steak, another haggis, whatever. Whereas if you were in a position to just get yourself, I don't know, pizza and heat it in the oven or whatever, it just makes it a bit more cost effective for you. And it's a bit more intimate. But anyway, I digress. The next thing we do is we get Maggie Smith. Now, Maggie Smith, not the Maggie Smith, the actress, Maggie Smith from Lewis. She's a native local Gaelic speaker. She's about 7 or 8 generations that she knows of in that area. And Maggie comes over and she tells us stories and she sings us songs, and she's just an absolutely delightful human being. She is a guide as well, so she also comes around the different sites with us, and she can tell us about all the different things that, like even somebody like myself, I can tell you the history, but having somebody who lives and breathes that soil telling you about it, it's just magic. I love it. And then we have that's our wee soiree, as you would say, with Maggie. And the 10 places that we tend to visit, we do the Callanish Standing Stones. Well, Callanish number 1, I should say, because they're all over the place. We also do, we go up to the Butt of Lewis, which is a lighthouse right on the edge of the world. That's how you feel. It's like really beautiful, and there's a little beach there that we visit, a little cove that comes in, a beautiful white sandy beach. What else do we do? It's quite a lot, actually. We tend to do making the odd stop along the way, and then we go back into Stornoway at the end. And then the next day we get up early and we make our way to Harris. Along our way to Harris, we go into Tarbert first, and that's where you get the Harris Gin Distillery and Whiskey Distillery, where you can go inside, and lots of Harris Tweed gift shops there. We also stop at another Harris Tweed gift shop, which is very nice. And you can see, I forgot the Black Houses in Lewis, guys. How could I forget a Lewis Black House? We also do the Lewis Black Houses, and you can actually see them weaving, how it works. The wee guy does a wee demonstration for you. But anyway, on Harris, we also do Luskintyre Beach, and you can see the Luskintyre ponies. And then we go down to Rodall, where you can see St Clement's Church, which is also haunted, by the way. It was one of our photo challenges the other day. And then we catch the ferry to the Uists. Once we're in the Uists, we go, we make our way down to Benbecula, where we overnight 2 nights. So it's 2 nights in Lewis, 2 nights in Benbecula. One day we do a walk on the Dark Island. So Benbecula's other name is the Dark Island. And then we do a wee walk one day, and then we go down the next day. We go down to catch the ferry to Barra, and we go via Eriskay. And you can see the Eriskay ponies, and you can go see the Politician, which is the bar where they had, if you've ever heard about the film Whiskey Galore. That's where the whiskey was recovered. Recovered. I like that. Where they basically went in and nicked a bunch of whiskey that was on a sinking ship, the Politician. There's been 2 films made about it, one fairly recently called Whiskey Galore. And then we catch the ferry to Barra. It's only a short ferry journey, maybe half an hour. And then we stay in Castle Bay in Barra for another 2 nights. And, we do everything's kind of weather dependent. We do something we go on island time. When we're on island time, we just kind of take things as they come. So depending on the weather, we will kind of manage our time accordingly. There's no point in walking 2 hours in the rain if we could have done it the day before or the day after, if you get what I'm saying. So we kind of just go on island time. I should also say that when we're on Benbecula, we have Gillibrachie Macmillan, who was the bard in Outlander in season 1. He is a local boy from South Uist, so he comes over and he has the soiree with us at Nunton House. And then he does a wee tour with us in the coach of South Uist. So he shows you where Flora MacDonald was born, just stuff like that. Go to the museum there. It's so interesting. Such a beautiful part of the world as well. And then on Barra, we do a wee walk. We can go see Kissimmule Castle, which sits on a wee island just off of Castle Bay. And yeah, it's just a really special place, Barra. So we're actually doing that in August this year. Fingers crossed. We are doing it still in August, as far as it stands at this point in time. And we're doing it the opposite direction this time. So we're starting at Barra, then going north. But for that one, we're doing a few different things. So I am taking the ferry over to Barra, which is nearly a 5-hour ferry from Oban with the coach. And one other guest, I think, is going to be joining me. Everybody else has decided that they're going to take the flight to Barra, because it's the only place in the world with regular scheduled beach landing. Its actual runway is on the beach. So they're all going to do that. So Agif is going first with the first lot, and then they're going to be meeting there. And then I'll appear at some point in the evening. We're going to have a nice dinner. And then we're going over just exactly what I said, just the opposite. And the only other difference is we're not staying at Lewis Castle when we're in Lewis. We're actually going to stay at the Black Houses, guys. I'm so excited. Like, the most excited ever. We're actually going to stay in the Black Houses themselves. We've basically hired the whole place to ourselves. There's just one other family, I think, staying there while we're there. And Maggie lives just up the road, and she's going to come and visit us. So I am so excited to stay at the Black Houses. So that's going to be like out of this world, once in a lifetime experience. So that's pretty much what we do with the Hebrides tour. We're also doing a special Mull tour. Again, everybody goes to Mull. Mull is one of those places, apparently has the most Englishmen per head than anywhere else in Scotland. I think because it's so accessible. But the whole point of Mull is we're doing the Three Isles tour, and we're doing Mull, Iona, and Staffa. Hopefully, if everything goes well, that's the week after the Hebrides in August. And we're going to have a guy called Alistair White come with us. And Alistair's a local boy from Mull and beautiful Gaelic singer, expert on the island. He's actually told me, he's like, Catriona, we should go to Ulva. Ulva's a wee island just off of Mull. They've got a really nice boat. It's called the Ulva Boat House, and we're going to do some music and song in there, hopefully, if everything goes well. And then obviously we're going to do Staffa and Iona. We do that. I don't know, Lynn, if you're in here, I can't remember. Did we do that with you? I think I might have. And the point of the matter is that Mull and Gaelic, they were two things, and it's almost been eradicated, which is really quite sad. But we're going to change that. So if you are a McLean, you might want to see Mull. So we're going to do like Duart Castle. That's a 5-day tour. So we're calling it the Three Isle Tours. So there you go. You're going to go see Calgary Bay, Taylor, I think. And if you go into our things, I do part of the tour is I do the Calgary Bay walk. It's a beautiful, it's called the Sculpture Walk, and it starts just before Calgary. We go in and we do a walk, and it takes us right onto Calgary Bay. And there's a church and an old graveyard just on the other side of the road, and we just kind of go and walk about that. I have a video here somewhere, so Taylor, if you want to look, because I know you're from Calgary, if you go and check that, it's in the video somewhere, so that's going to be good fun. So I do Calgary quite a lot, Calgary Bay at least, and it's beautiful. You can see the Macher, which is the kind of weird heather wetland sort of marshland, which sits right next to the Hebridean coastline. very protected actually. So we're going to do that. And then the week after that, it's a very busy, well, it's supposed to be a very busy month in August/September. I'm also supposed to be doing the Jacobites, You Jacobite by Name, which is a tour in September, the week after, again, 5 days, a week after Mull. I'm going up from Glasgow, we're going up to Inverness, where we're going to stay for 2 nights. And we're going to do 1 day going up to Dunrobin, but on the same day we're going to be focusing on the Highland clearances, because I have to do that. So we're going to go to like Christchurch and stuff like that, which is really important for the clearances. And then we're going to go to Dunrobin Castle, and on that day we're going to have Gavin from Invergordon Tours join us. He's a very good pal. I've been working with Gavin for about 6 years or something now. We kind of share work together. And he's going to join us for that day because that's his neck of the woods. The next day we're going to go, we're going to do obviously Culloden, the Clava Cairns, all those kind of things. And then we're going to go down to Fort William. And on the way to Fort William, we're going to do Loch Ness, we're going to do Urquhart, and we'll probably stop at, what's it called? Inverlochy Castle. See, it's all in there. We're going to go to the actual ruins of Inverlochy Castle, not the other Inverlochy Castle. And then we're going to stay in Fort William, have a nice night. The next day, our guests are going to take the Jacobite steam train up to Mallaig, just one way. We are going to go up in the bus and meet them in Mallaig, and we're going to come back down. So on the Jacobite steam train, you go, it's very picturesque. Everybody knows it as the Harry Potter train, but you tend to stop at the Glenfinnan train station, and you go over the viaduct. But on the way back, we're going to stop actually at like the Silver Sands of Morar. We're going to stop at the Glenfinnan Monument, actually, itself, which is really important to me. Sometimes, you know, guys, Ian, who works there, he was actually sick, and one of the other guys who works there, he said, Catriona, could you maybe take people up there for me? Because he didn't know it. So I was helping them out and doing a wee tour up the monument, taking people up onto the balcony and the railings and pointing out things and telling about, you know, what the monument's all about and all that. And it's one of my favourite places in Scotland, actually favourite places. And then we go up to the monument viewpoint, where you get a really great view of the viaduct, and hopefully you'll see the train coming back the way. So you'll get to be on the train going over the viaduct, and then you'll get to be up on the viewpoint and taking a picture over the viaduct afterwards. So that's really fun. And then we're going to go back to Fort William, and we're going to get our Gladrags on, and this is on a Thursday. And then we're going to go to the Glenfinnan hotel, and they do a Ceilidh night, like an open mic kind of Ceilidh shindig sort of night on a Thursday night, and they keep inviting me to go, but guys, I'm so far away, I can never go. So I was like, I'm going to do that this time. So we're all going to go up and just have a good wee party. And then after that's finished, we're going, after that day, the next morning, we get up early and we make our way via Glencoe into Argyll. Okay, and we're going to go to Dunoon and see Castle Lament, and then in Cowell, and then we're going to take the ferry from Dunoon over to Gourock, near where I live, and we're going to go back to Glasgow. So you're going to come through my hometown on the way back to Glasgow. So that's really a wee loop that we're doing. So we're doing these kind of things every year. And the focus is on local culture, local history, local folklore, the language, even tradition, like local tradition that maybe isn't in a storybook, it isn't in a history book. It's something that this guy's granda told him, that guy down the road told him that day 20 years ago. Like, it's one of them things. But I think that's really what makes up a story. That's what makes up a culture. That's what makes up an experience and a trip. All the while you get to listen to my rubbish jokes. So it's going to be a really good time. And like I said, we're going to do them again. So we've already got May set. We're going to do one in July as well, and again in August, although we don't know our August dates again. Hi, John. Do you like my lovely gear? That was actually the weirdest thing. Like, did you guys actually get my whole table just shook there, and there's nobody there? That's so weird. Anyway, so that's really my chat. I hope you enjoyed my random sales pitches. But that's what we're trying to do. And I hope if you ever get the opportunity in the future, obviously at the moment we want everybody to stay at home and to stay safe until we're told otherwise. And the moment that becomes it comes back to the moment it becomes okay for us to travel again, Scotland will be here. And John, that's right. I took John and myself went for a breakfast. That was a few weeks ago. I don't know, a few months ago. We went to Langbank with great views over Dumbarton Castle. That was lovely. So I'm going to say good night, Slancha. See you tomorrow for Helmet's Whiskey Chat. He's like that, what? I'm not doing anything.
Whiskey galore.
Whiskey galore. So see you all then. Gute Nacht. Auf Wiedersehen. There's chocolate?
No, there isn't.
No, there's no chocolate. Gute Nacht. Bonne nuit. Tschüss. Guten Abend. Schläf gut. Stay healthy. Slange. Eiche war. And we'll see you tomorrow night. So take care, everybody. Stay safe. Stay home.